My dear Frodo, Bilbo Baggins wrote, his hand slightly shaky with age. He sat in his comfortable study at Bag End, a cosy fire crackling in the hearth. The year was 1421 in the Shire reckoning, 60 years since his own grand adventure began. Now he was setting down the tale for his young cousin Frodo. It all began, as you know, with Gandalf the Grey. Bilbo dipped his quill in the inkwell, memories flooding back. He saw again the twinkle in Gandalf's eye, the expectant faces of the dwarves. He recalled the scent of pipeweed and the rumble of dwarvish song that had once filled his tidy hobbit hole. He remembered, too, the fear that had gripped him, the thrill of the unknown. "I was a very different hobbit then, Frodo," Bilbo continued, a smile touching his lips, "content with my books, my garden and the simple pleasures of the Shire. An adventure, a real adventure, was the furthest thing from my mind." He paused, chuckling softly, or so I thought. Little did he know his comfortable world was about to be turned upside down. The ink flowed freely now, carrying Bilbo back to that fateful day when his unexpected journey began. Bilbo's story turned to the distant past, to the grand kingdom of Erebor. Carved into the heart of the lonely mountain, Erebor was a sight to behold. Its halls glittered with gold and gems, ruled over by King Thror, mightiest of the dwarf kings. The dwarves were renowned for their craftsmanship, their forges producing weapons and treasures unmatched throughout Middle-earth. But their wealth became their undoing. A dragon of immense size and ferocity, Smaug the Golden, descended upon Erebor. With flames hotter than 1,000 forges, Smaug drove out the dwarves and claimed their treasure as his own. King Thror and his kin barely escaped with their lives, forced to wander Middle-earth as refugees. The loss of their home, their gold and their pride cut the dwarves deeply. For generations they lived as exiles, clinging to the memory of their lost kingdom. The tale of Smaug's attack was passed down from father to son, fueling a burning desire for vengeance and a longing to reclaim what was theirs. Thorin Oakenshield, grandson of the fallen King Thror, bore the weight of his people's suffering. Grim and proud, Thorin yearned to restore the honor of his line and lead his people back to their rightful home. He had grown up hearing tales of the magnificent kingdom under the mountain, of the wealth and glory that was once theirs. But Thorin harbored a deep bitterness, not only towards Smaug, but towards the elves. When Smaug attacked, the elves of nearby Rivendell, ruled by the powerful elven king Thranduil, offered no aid. Thorin saw this as a betrayal, believing the elves cared only for their own riches and were content to see the dwarves suffer. This resentment festered within him, shaping his view of the world and influencing his decisions. Driven by the need for vengeance and the dream of reclaiming Erebor, Thorin gathered a company of loyal dwarves. Their goal was perilous: to infiltrate the lonely mountain, defeat the fearsome Smaug and reclaim their treasure. Yet they lacked a crucial element for their plan to succeed: a skilled burglar, stealthy and nimble, who could reach Smaug's lair undetected. Bilbo's quill scratched across the page as he described the arrival of the dwarves at his hobbit hole. One by one they came, 13 dwarves in all, their beards tucked into their belts, their eyes gleaming with a mixture of hope and sorrow. Last of all came Thorin, his bearing proud, his face etched with determination and a hint of sadness. Bilbo, a creature of habit and comfort, was initially horrified by the intrusion. The dwarves, led by the boisterous Bombur and Bofa, turned his tidy hobbit hole upside down. They sang songs of their lost homeland, devoured his pantry and spoke of dangerous quests and fire-breathing dragons. It was Gandalf, however, who orchestrated the whole affair. The wizard, with a twinkle in his eye and a puff of his pipe, had a knack for meddling in the affairs of others. He saw in Bilbo, despite the hobbit's protests, a hidden potential for adventure. Gandalf believed that Bilbo's quiet courage and resourcefulness would prove invaluable to Thorin's company. Thus, with a stroke of his pen and a binding contract, Gandalf made Bilbo a burglar on the spot. The hobbit, caught up in the whirlwind of it all, found himself swept away on a grand adventure. his comfortable life in the Shire fading into the distance.